like when with the January 9th illegal swatting arrest of on January 9th of last year. I'm still fighting that, and I'm pretty sure I've been to court at least almost 10 times. I definitely was going to court over 5 times behind this. It's either the police officer don't show up, and the last time the judge didn't show up. It's not fair, because if I don't show up, what they want to threaten a warrant out for my arrest if I don't show up. But it's okay for the judge to not show up. It's okay for the fake lying officer to not show up. It's okay for the fake public offender to go to a vacation or go take a conference somewhere.
Introduction. Greetings, meatbags. Candy has been asking some pretty obvious questions she equally, quite obviously, does not know the answer to. While my meatbag is not a lawyer, he has chosen to answer them from the perspective of an informed lay person, in the hopes that perhaps she might find an actual clue about what's going on.
She wants to know why the defendant is forced to appear under threat of a bench warrant, yet the judge, lawyers, and police are allowed to be absent. It's quite simple, Candy. An order to appear in court is a court order. Failure to comply with a court order is grounds for arrest. Believe it or not, the court may choose to accommodate your Schedule 2 if you have a valid reason. We're not going to tell you any, because that is your public defender's job. Let's talk about him first. There are very, very, very few dedicated public defenders. In many places, practicing attorneys get assigned by the court to do public defender work. Your lawyer is almost certainly one of those. And because the court doesn't know their actual schedule, it is usually willing to give the public defender a break if he or she has a prior commitment. It would be unfair to your attorney and his paying clients if he were expected to drop everything just because Candy Grand Prix got unruly at the library last year. The prosecutor has similar issues as far as scheduling goes. Believe it or not, you aren't the only person in the justice system. There are a lot of people on trial for a variety of reasons. And like dedicated public defenders, there aren't that many prosecutors, not enough anyway, to give the average prosecutor a lot of open windows for your case. Then there's the judge, or the court, as it's often called. They are people too. They can get sick, they can be in car wrecks, they can have family tragedies. They can just need a fucking day off, and they can even die. On the nicer side, they can also schedule vacations because being a judge is actually hard work.
To just keep me dragged behind, where's my constitutional rights to a fair and speedy trial? I'm getting none of this.
The right to a speedy trial, from our meatbag's understanding, is a bit of a misnomer. It simply means the court should not intentionally drag things out. Like, imagine if you were the only person in the justice system, and your case was taking this long. That would be a clear violation of your right to a speedy trial. From what we've seen, you've been getting a pretty fair trial. You have representation, and by your own admission, you said the judge wants to hear from the officer involved, meaning he intends to study the officer's testimony quite carefully. Sometimes the police even blow the case against a defendant, meaning the defendant goes free. The police officer, by the way, also has a schedule and possible human issues to contend with. He or she may not have been able to attend because they were in the hospital, or the court accidentally scheduled them to appear when the officer had already been approved for vacation. There are dozens of real and valid reasons for the officer to be unavailable. However, each face their own consequences if they blow off court too. Judge, lawyers, and police, they just don't get arrested.
I think they're holding back the trial and everything to come up with something more corrupt and more corruption and something more bogus. And they know they're corrupt. So I don't even know if I have to be forced to have to pay exorbitant fees. And if my next YouTube AdSense payment gonna have to be forced to go towards, not being able to live, put it towards daily living for a few days, but it has to be forced to go towards being paying for court fees for crimes I didn't commit that I was falsely accused of.
That remains to be seen, Candy. While I'm sure you are absolutely convinced you did nothing wrong in the slightest, that can be said of almost all defendants. It's rare for someone to genuinely admit responsibility. Something tells me you were charged with more than mere trespassing. If you struggled with the officer, made physical contact, or simply made it impossible for him or her to do their job, you committed a crime or crimes, depending on what you actually did, which I hope was caught on body camera.
How come the judge, the prosecutors, the public defenders and all that, how come they're acting like they don't know the law?
They do know the law. They don't know your version of it.
Because if you were a court judge that knows the law, the fact that if someone said, she was trespassing on public property.
Hang on there a minute, Candy. It is very possible to be trespassed from public property, especially if you happen to be breaking the rules and or the law. You almost got trespassed from the park in Miami. Remember what the police told you? If they got more calls, they'd escort you from the park.
All right, Mama. Again, if you need anything from us, you gotta give us a call. But at the same time, if we're getting complaints and they're pointing you out, listen to me. I'm not here to go back and forth. If they're pointing you out, then I'm gonna have to escort you off the property, okay? So please, behave yourself.
Why didn't he throw the case out a long time ago?
Observation. She talks as if she has had multiple run-ins with the law and had many charges thrown out. If this is correct, it could indicate the court's patience might be at an end.
Both courts.
See what we mean?
And then they want to force you against your will to make it like you have zero choice to plead guilty to shit you didn't do, that you never did, and then be forced to have to pay fees and fines.
That can happen. We doubt it's happening to you, though.
And then they try to blackmail or manipulate and try to be like, if you just, we'll reduce it to the equivalent of a traffic stop, and then if you pay this fee, then it'll be erased completely off your record. Or if not, then you'll go to jail and pay like thousands of dollars or whatever.
Kind of a no-brainer, huh?
So, if I have to go to court soon, and then jail, or I don't know what the hell to expect.
A mental hospital?
I don't know. I mean, that puts me on hold that I cannot go look for jobs yet. And I'm disabled with certain limitations. I have these earbuds in because I cannot be around noise. I'm hypersensitive to noise.
Might be time for Andy ditch ear protectors then, Candy.
And so there are not many job opportunities that I could have. But they harass me via live stream and try to hinder my live streams where I could potentially earn more money. But they stopped that. They stopped me from my writings, which is earned income.
To be blunt, your writing is awful.
Which is part of the reason I personally enjoy it. I'm a sucker for unintentionally awful entertainment. There are usually a lot of unintentional laughs.
If I get a job, they illegally track down and hunt and track down where I work at and tell the employer a bunch of lies to get me wrongfully fired. If I secure a permanent place to live, if the neighbors don't run me out, then
Did y'all catch that little pause? It's time for a poll. What thought do you think interrupted her train of thought? 1. She was genuinely realizing just for a moment that she might be the reason nobody likes her wherever she goes. 2. She was coming to the realization that the entire world is populated with perps. 3. She suddenly remembered she needs money to stay off the streets. 4. I'm still hungry. 5. She was being forced bodily functioned. 6. Something else.
Then the online stalkers would lie to the landlord or the housing agency and try to get me wrongfully evicted. And lie and say that I'm the one harassing neighbors when the neighbors are stalking, following, and harassing me and performing their tactics on me, you know. And then when I document, they lie and say I'm the bully that's stalking and harassing neighbors.
Do you remember this guy, Candy? You said he was stalking you because you both came out of the same store at about the same time, and then he lit up a cigarette. Here, refresh your memory a bit.
See, he just said something. He just said something smart ass. He just said something smart ass. He just said something smart ass. It's
I can sit here.
It's a.
You came up to my ass, bitch.
You're gang stalking.
Walk on, bitch.
You're gang stalking.
Walk on.
Yeah, as I said, as soon as I walked out of the store, he's lit up a cigarette and started harassing and gang stalking.
Let's look at it from his point of view. Imagine wrapping up your business at the store, badly wanting a cigarette because you've also been drinking, yet having the restraint to not simply light up in the store, where it is expressly forbidden. You get outside in public where no smoking signs are, and light up your smoke on the way to the train or bus station. A woman in the store also leaves, heading for the same destination, suddenly accuses you of stalking and harassing her. Then she whips out a camera when you tell her to fuck off. Can you see how, from his point of view, you were being a total bitch?
And so they do all this tactics and harassment. It's preventing me from my highest potential or my best potential at focusing on being a better writer and working on short stories and novels and stuff. Like with the fact that I have this over my head and then being forced to suffer on the streets and then be chronically sleep deprived, I can only maybe work on bits and pieces of short stories, and I cannot even work on full-blown novels. And the stalkers sabotage by making fake bad reviews on all my Amazon ebooks on purpose to deter anyone from wanting to support or buy anything. And then I heard that people say that if they try to donate to me on Cash App, then there's a fake red flag warning of scam alert or something like that, when the stalkers have made false reports while they're stealing my potential income that I'm supposed to be earning. Sticky and them, the cult, they're stealing my income.
Nobody is stealing your income. Sticky simply makes entertainment out of your terrible e-begging. Let's be honest. You aren't here to entertain. You want money.
You're stealing from me and yet calling me the scammer and the fraud.
You just want money.
And the grifter. Y'all leaving me forced to have to live like this.
Oh, and sympathy, of course, but mostly money.
But I love y'all. I'm tired. And I'm gonna get off here. I don't need dinner help tonight.
Guess this was a sympathy video then.